transport, aviation, maritime.
Could you have people around CASA, the space agency, safety, site rangers? You know, it's not just rockets. You know, this is going to be the first commercial launch in Australia, and that means a lot for the Australian space industry, not just ELA.
Yeah. As I've travelled around the globe in the last sort of 12 months, talking to all the major players in the space world, one of the things that has really struck me is there are Australians everywhere.
Yep.
And so, to some degree, bringing that home and showing that we have a capability here,
right.
And this is our coming out party in a big way. And to show that Australian technology and innovation and entrepreneurship can, you know, be at the forefront of the world stage in space is a big statement. And I think that there are a lot of other great Australian companies in space.
There is.
But, you know, the Fleet Technologies who are doing satellites, the Skycraft in Canberra doing satellites.
Who will hopefully have another launch this year.
Yeah,
that's right.
and Myota. You know, Southern Launch, our launch partners who are coming up tonight, which is really nice.
That's right, and hoping to have that, you know, this kind of same facility, but in the south. And that's the beauty of it, is this isn't just representing this site, it is what Australia is going to become.
But certainly with Southern Space, we talk to it, Southern Launch, sorry, we talk to them all the time. We get on really well with them because we have common problems, you know, and common challenges. So we try to help each other out where we can, and I'm a big believer in, you know, the sum of the parts is always going to be, you know, the best part of it.
And so, you know, let's 10 years. We have a first launch tonight.
Yep.
What do you think Arnhem Space Centre looks like in 10 years?
Well, where we're standing at the moment is on what I would call, you know, Site 1.
Yep.
Yeah, the end of the first phase, which gives us the ability to do medium-sized rockets.
Yep.
So up to about 450 to 500 kilos in payload.
Yep.
The rocket itself sitting on the pad can be up to, you know, 200,000 kilos sitting on the, so reasonably large. This is Site 1.
Yeah.
Immediately, you know, a kilometre, you know, to our east here is Site 2, and we will eventually have, you know, the drawing at the moment has 24 pads on it. It has to be very carefully planned so that we can do a launch effectively every 6 to 9 days.
Yep. And so tonight, it's all happening tonight, right?
Yep. We're now inside the countdown. We started the countdown at 8 hours before launch.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of activities. It's incredibly detailed and scripted what happens, the number of checks, the number of players. There's over 100 people on site. All extraneous, non-required people are off-site for safety, but they're working through the checks. They're rehearsing, you know, as they go and then executing. We have to have a huge amount of external communications as well. So airspace, maritime, local emergency services, coordinating with security, just talking to everybody else on site as to
Because it's still a rocket that is being launched tonight, right? That's the thing.
Absolutely. You know, we're about to fire a projectile that's going 300 kilometres into space.
Yeah.
And then it's coming back to exactly where we want it.
T-minus 3 minute hold for this weather balloon. Now, the idea here is to have the weather balloon go up, test the local winds. Because again, what we're worried about, and what NASA in particular is worried about for this rocket, is not just the winds on the top of the gantry of the rocket as we're looking at, but as it goes into orbit. So these balloons obviously can go tens of kilometers into orbit to actually test what is the winds above and below. But now the key here is the whole rocket is obviously going to a height of 350 kilometers. So in order to do that, they need to test up to as high as they possibly can to make sure it's stable enough for those winds. Now, we still haven't had the rain, even though we still have winds or droplets on our screen here. Now, for those who asked, we cannot go near the rocket site. No one can go near it. That